Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an assistant director of admissions at SYA Abroad. Also, more importantly, I'm an alum. Thank you for coming to our Google Hangout tonight for the SYA Spain class of 2018. Congratulations again. We have a special guest here tonight. Carly, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Carly. I'm the assistant marketing manager here abroad. First of all, congratulations to everybody. I'm so excited. A little bit of the format that we'll do tonight. We're going to have a Q&A with our alums here, Maddie, and then we're going to open up the floor to you to live chat on our YouTube page. So feel free to put your name, your school, where you're from, and any questions you have in there, and we will get to those in the second half of the chat.
Thank you, Carly. Like she mentioned, we have a very special guest tonight, an alum of the 2016 class of SYA Spain. Maddie, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm a senior at Phillips Academy Andover. I went to Spain last year. Yeah, that's I'm from Marblehead, Massachusetts. I think that's about all the basics.
Awesome. So to start, can you tell us a little bit about how you felt when you were accepted to SYA and what made you decide to attend?
I was really excited. I was, one of my teachers was really, she gave me a recommendation. She was really excited for me to go. I was also I got accepted with one of my best friends, so it was an easier decision for me. But at the same time, most people who got accepted did not have a friend going with them, and the decision because if you put yourself out there to go for your junior year of high school abroad, you want to do that, and it's an experience of a lifetime. So I did not want to miss it.
Awesome. And so when you first got there, so what were your first few days like? I know you had a friend there, but what were your first impressions of your new school, your new city, classmates?
I loved it. The first few days were really fun. I met my host family. I came in with a basic level of Spanish. I was really intimidated by how fast everyone spoke in Spanish. But I think that if they made it easy, it wouldn't have been the same experience. So I was just trying to get a grip on what they were saying, and I was also meeting people in the classroom, and the teachers are really the school and the teachers are really nice right off the bat. So they made it easy, and everyone, of course, is going through the same thing. So we all got really close really quickly.
And so for those of us who are just joining, we're doing a first section and sort of Q&A with our fantastic alum here, Maddie, and then you'll be able to ask questions during the second half. You can just post your name, your school, and then where you're from, and then type in a question for us. So we want to talk a little bit about host families now. So host families work, so we have you fill out a lot of paperwork, sorry about that. A lot of the most important stuff revolves around the host family. So we have your parents and you fill out a 10-page form that has things about sort of your living habits, what you're looking for in a host family, and then we have a host family coordinator that's worked with us and with our families for a long time in Zaragoza. And so they take your paperwork and use families, most of which have hosted SYA students before, and we try to place the best family for you. So Maddie, if you could just speak a little bit about your host family, what you liked.
I loved my host family. I got really lucky. We're really close. I just called my host mom the other day. It was her birthday. It was me and two parents who were empty nesters. They had 4 kids, which is more than the usual amount in Spain. But they were awesome. I met all the kids too, and it was great being a part of the family. I met all the aunts and uncles and the grandparents, and I think my experience with my family is not unique in the sense that we were really close. I think most people get pretty close to their host families. And if I don't know, me and my host parents, they brought me to different little towns, and they brought me to their little village or their pueblo, an hour and a half away, which is really special. And a more a different kind of cultural experience outside of the city. I really appreciate them, and I miss them a lot.
I can totally speak to that. I mean, I'm a little further out than you, Maddie, but I did SYA 6 years ago, and I'm still in touch with my host mom. I email her monthly, if not weekly, and I've met her 6 times since I graduated SYA. So those bonds definitely last a time. So now, Maddie, I'll ask you a little bit about the academics. If you could just talk about how the classes were similar or different from the classes that you took at your homeschool, and if you had a favorite class, and then what was the most difficult adjustment to classes in Spanish?
I think the biggest difference is that it's in Spanish. The biggest adjustment is the learning curve with the language and being able to express yourself in Spanish without struggling or being embarrassed. I think that's like it takes time, but it's really worth it when you get to that point. And it's you have to be really receptive to the teacher's criticisms. And well, they're constructive, and they're really there to help you. The teachers are incredible at SYA. I think that's something that's stuck with me. Like, there's been so many institutions I've been a part of. I'm not talking about Phillips at all, but just in general, like sometimes there's educators who aren't always there to help you. And I think at SYA, every single one, at least at SYA Spain, like they were all incredible. And my favorite class, I loved political science, it was a special experience to take a class like that in high school in Spanish. I learned a lot, and I use my knowledge still in classes, like this year.
And so, Maddie, we know that you're able to
I
a lot of co-curriculars while you're at SYA. Can you tell me a little bit about what you did outside of school and then what your friends did?
I did Zumba classes sometimes. I tutored some Spanish kids, and I made some money. I did this program second term called Joven Erasmus, which was like this program with Spanish students who were my age and then American students from SYA, and we all like sat and talked about cultural differences with Tomas, who is one of the teachers at SYA Spain, and it was really educational, and it was also I made really good friends, so I had a lot of fun. And then my friends did similar things, or they did cooking classes. Some did art with a famous painter, which was really cool to see the gallery at the end of the year.
So did your friends do any sports or anything?
Oh yeah, there was a lot of sports. They did they did soccer. I know that there was rugby, and that's all I can remember right now. But I definitely know people were playing sports, and if they weren't playing sports like an organized thing, they were playing in the park, which is really close by. So.
And just so everyone who's watching knows, we do have a requirement for a co-curricular for our students. We have a activities coordinator at our Zaragoza campus that'll help you set things up. So for example, when I did SYA, I did crew, and I also, like Maddie, did Zumba classes with my friends a couple of times a week. So you talk about your favorite, some of the educational school travel, and then also the independent travel you did.
The educational school travel is probably the coolest thing that you get to do. Like, it's crazy that you get to go on a school trip to different parts of Spain. I went to Extremadura which was one of the first trips that we take. They split the thirds, and I got to go to a part of Spain that I really had not heard of, and it was really cool, and we got to see a lot, and the teachers. It was an educational experience, but it was like really hands-on. I loved it. And then there was that one. And there was also at the end of the year a capstone trip, which was they sent us off. It was independent, but it was for research. So Algeciras in the south of Spain, and I studied Gibraltar. And then independent travel was really fun because I met some great friends, and we would all go to different parts of Spain together. And I went to San Sebastian, Barcelona, Valencia, I can't, just a lot of places. And it was really cool. I think one of the, aside from seeing cities and getting to know like different parts of the country, it was really cool to be able to plan a whole trip and uh, do that by yourself. It's special and it's a unique experience for someone who's like 17 years old.
And just so, again, for those who are watching, we do have a process for independent travel, as I'm sure Maddie knows. So you have to run your itinerary. It has to be related to your schoolwork, and you have to run by your resident director and your parents for your signature. It also has to be to an approved location. So before we get to questions from the audience, if Maddie, you could just share anything else about your SYA experience you'd like people to know.
What else? I'm blanking. I mean, I can't imagine having done anything else, and I it was just incredible. I made the best friends the whole grade, like the Americans in the school. We all got along so well, and I really fell in love with the city. Zaragoza is one of the most incredible cities I don't know I've ever been to, but I'm really sentimental because I live there. But I loved it, and just like even when people like they're going off all over Spain, the city that SYA is in is unbelievable. I loved it. So.
All right. So do you have any questions from our viewers?
Yeah, I have a couple. So Winter just wanted to know a little bit about playing on a team was like there. We kind of touched on that before, how it is possible to continue playing sports. And sometimes it's even better because you're playing with local students, helps you learn the language a little bit better.
So I can speak to that both from as an alum and as someone who did sport while abroad, and also from the admissions perspective. So like I said, we have that activities coordinator on the Zaragoza campus. And pretty much if they play in the Zaragoza area, we can try and set it up for you. So just to give you an example, we have an alum from 2 years ago who was really interested in field hockey. And so she looked at the team about an hour away, but they got the coach to drive her and another girl to do field hockey. We also have a student currently in Spain who's playing on a club team, actually the club team that feeds on to the professional Zaragoza team. That's pretty cool. Just speaking from personal experience, again, I was able to find a crew team that, again, it didn't practice as much as I did in the US. In the United States, you tend to practice 5-6 times a week, and in Europe, it's just a little different. I did it maybe twice a week, but it was still keeping up with my sport and doing it with locals, which I think is probably the best part. Maddie, do you have anything to
add? I mean, I don't have the experience of playing on a team. I'm not athletic, but if you're expecting to be part of like a school run team, that's not exactly what it is. But you like join other club teams that are pre-existing, so you make like those local friends. That's about it.
Alex has a good question for you, Maddie. Just wondering, since she goes to boarding school as well, how was the adjustment from school and over school at SYA? Was it more or less rigor and schedules, etc.?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Ellis, she goes to St. Paul's in New Hampshire, and since you go to Andover, she was just wondering how the adjustment was from boarding school life to SYA.
I got a lot more sleep at SYA. I'm going to be honest. But the adjustment for me was easy-ish. I mean, I'm used to living away from home. I'm also used to rigorous academics. And that didn't change. I was just in a little bit farther away than I usually was from home, and I was speaking a different language. So the adjustments all cultural in that sense. Like the school wise, it's very similar. Academics, I'm not going to say a break, but I did get more sleep, which is a plus.
Well, just from an admissions and as an alum a couple of years out, the academics aren't easier, but we do have a different emphasis. We really emphasize the language, and we'd rather have you sitting at the dinner table for 2 hours with your host family, really learning Spanish than sitting doing grammar exercises. So the emphasis is different. The classes are on the same level, especially your English and math classes, but it's not quite as much of a pressure cooker as some junior years. I'm sure at St. Paul's or at Anderson's, no pressure cooker that junior year. You don't feel as your classmates at home, but you are doing the same sort of academics with a different emphasis.
Yeah, if I can just cut in, knowing like most of my, of course, all my friends at Andover experienced junior year. For them, it was so difficult, and it brought them to a breaking point. And I know that I didn't learn any less than them. I know I learned the same, if not more, because like I got knowledge that I would have gotten anyways. And then just like cultural understanding and language understanding on top of that. And I was not at any moment. I loved it. And when I know like I'm a very stressed out person, and Andover definitely contributes to that. And yeah, I think the break that they give you in order for you to like talk and experience and explore like is the best part. Is like it's a huge part of the education. Like it helps you learn more. I don't know. So.
We have a question regarding the college application process for seniors at SYA. Did you want to talk a little bit about the college counselors that we have on site at SYA Spain?
Yeah, so again, I can speak to this personally and professionally. My brother actually did SYA as a senior 2 years after me, so I went through that whole process with him. Granted, I went as a junior, but the college process at SYA is pretty similar actually to what you do at your home school. So we have a college counseling liaison, which is essentially just a fancy term for a college counselor who has 2 jobs. Their first job is to act as your college counselor, but they also have the job of coordinating with your home school to make sure everything's on track. So you meet with the person at SYA, but they're in contact with your home school too to make sure that they're in sync. And so you meet with them regularly from the moment you get there. You can also take all the standardized tests that you would take at your home school when you take them at SYA. So we're a registered testing site for the SAT, the ACT, the AP, and the PSATs. So you can take all of that while you're abroad at SYA. As far as the actual applications, so the process is still the same. The only advice I would give that's a little different is you should have a pretty good idea of where you want to apply by the end of the summer, September, because you won't be able to visit necessarily because you're abroad. And you do, again, so my brother was recruited for college swimming. So that whole process was the same. There were emails, he sent times. He also did interviews while abroad. And quite frankly, for him, I'm sure he would say that it was definitely beneficial to get SYA as a senior. Only because he didn't, again, have that same pressure that he would have as a senior at his home school. Going through the entire process, only feeling like he's in competition with his peers. In that sense, SYA was good for him as a senior. Also, not to mention, you have all of these life-changing experiences, but you're really living right then. It's very fresh. So it's good for college essays. It's good for interviews. We have the same sort of support that they would have at the home school. So in that sense, it's very much the same. Hope that was helpful.
So Maddie, you might be helpful with this one. What dialect do they speak in the Sarasota area, and is it the most common popular? Like,
and if it's the most common what?
Like, is it like what's the most like while you're hanging out with the teenagers in Zaragoza, do they speak a different dialect than regular Spanish? Kind of the local.
I mean, what's cool, like, so Zaragoza's in Aragon, and that's they have like people in Aragon have like a few like their own. It's very similar. How do I? They have just like a few people like they have just like a few words that they add that like aren't just like in Massachusetts how they say wicked, and then like in other parts of the United States they don't say wicked. Like it's kind of like that. I think that Spain has every single like autonomous community you go to has their own variants on it if they do speak Castilian Spanish, but then there's also Catalonia and Galicia, and actually I don't even want to País Vasco. Like there's a lot that don't even speak Castilian Spanish colloquially, like everywhere, but like they have Gallego, they have Catalan, they have Basco, and it goes on and on. So if it's I'd say that if the Spanish you learn in Zaragoza is a Spanish that can be understood and that is a standard in Spain. It's like it's probably the easiest to understand compared to the South. And it also like if like I worked and I spoke a lot in Spanish to people who were from um, like Latin America or the Caribbean. And I was able to understand them and they were able to understand me. So I don't know if that's what. And the teenagers have like their own slang, but it's all understandable. It's all good.
Awesome. So next question, Sarah, has to do with, we just have one mom wondering, what schools the diploma will say when you graduate?
So generally it will say your home school even if you are a senior. That being said, in rare circumstances, you will offer an SYA diploma, but that's really a last resort in case your home school is unwilling to do a diploma, which again hardly ever happens. So for all of our seniors out there, you will get your diploma. You walk in your own graduation. Like I said, my brother went as a senior, and he came back in time for his senior prom and for his graduation ceremony because the school he went to for 3 years before SYA.
Next, we have McNeil and Maddie. They're just wondering what they could do over the summer to better prepare themselves to compete in the fall. So,
I'd say so. Most people go, yeah. I'd say you have to have like English. It's like Spanish, like 2 or 3, right? Going into SYA Spain. So my big thing going in, I don't know why I didn't do it. I still regret it that I didn't really review like Spanish at all before Spain. I think it's just like very beneficial. Maybe watch a Spanish movie with subtitles. Maybe listen to some like Duolingo, the app, like that's a free app, and you can just like practice some Spanish vocabulary and um, on grammar. You're not fumbling with even like the basic stuff that you know from class. So you just have like a base level. But even if you don't, it like I didn't, it turns out okay. You'll leave knowing Spanish. So
questions from the audience. I don't have many other ones. I don't know if anybody has any questions, feel free to put it in the live chat if you want to talk a little bit about something else for a moment and give them the opportunity. Or
Well, yeah, I mean, I would agree with Maddie about the Spanish practice. So I was again right after 2 years of the language, I decided to do SYA. And again, like she said, you don't have to be an expert to do SYA. You just have to go and have the right attitude. So I actually didn't do any practice the summer before. Again, like Maddie, I told myself, and then summer comes and we don't. And it's really not a big deal. That's what those first few weeks are for. Our teachers have been teaching SYA students. They know the learning curve. They know that students like me come to SYA each year ready to learn, but without necessarily the you're not necessarily good at Spanish yet. So yeah.
but so do students go home during the holidays, or do they stay in Spain with their host families, home families, visit them, etc.?
So that really depends on the family. Students aren't in jail, so you're allowed to visit them whenever your schedule allows. So students, if they're going to go home, they would go home for the winter break because it's the longest. That being said, as a student who went home for my break, I wouldn't recommend it. One, because I lost a little bit of the language that I've been working on for 4 months, but also it was hard to leave my dog and my room and my siblings after being away for that long. Actually, the departure in January for me was much harder than in September. So I really would encourage families, if they can, to try and go over and visit their students abroad and use honeymoon as the last resort. That being said, again, the host families take in students for the entire year. You're part of their family. You're part of their world. So one of my colleagues even ended up staying for Christmas break with his host family, and he said it was an unforgettable experience. But like I said, it depends on the individual situation and what the family wants to do. But we do, yeah, Maddie, you can speak to that.
Yeah, I know that my friends who went home did not wish they hadn't, and then most people, I think the majority, had their parents and their families come over, and then they like went traveling around Spain or they hung around. I think my experience, I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm Jewish, so I decided to just like for the first time, and it was awesome. It was probably one of the highlights was spending Christmas with my and like my whole family. Like there's 70 rooms. Awesome. I would not. That was unforgettable. So yeah, I would do that. That's my personal opinion though.
Okay, yeah. We don't have any other questions. So Maddie, thank you so much. Just a couple of things before we leave to all the accepted students. Feel free to follow us on our Instagram account and constantly posting pictures from current students. So it might be fun for you to look at what they're doing. With a lot of pictures from their travels, etc. And feel free to check out our student blogs on our website. We have a campus reporter program where current students are constantly sending us blogs, pictures, videos, which is also a leadership opportunity for you next year, which you'll get information about that over the summer. And of course, please feel free to reach out on social media anytime. I'm always here to help.
And yeah, if you think of any questions that you didn't have a chance to ask on the Google Hangout, I'm always here to answer questions. It's what I do for a living and I love it. And I'm just really excited, and congratulations again for this SYA Spain class of 2018. Having read all your applications, you all are phenomenal, and I'm really just excited to have you in our class next year.
And thank you so much, Maddie, for joining us tonight. Great having you.
Oh, thank you guys.
All right. Good night, everybody.